All right, Joe Davis. One, two, three. 1, 2, 3.
You here? I know it is 6 o'clock, but we're going to wait a few minutes to allow more people to join in. We'll wait a couple more minutes.
every day. We need to film that. All my algorithms.
Or are you going to give it another 5 minutes, or what are your plans?
Give it another minute or so. We'll get started shortly.
Courtney, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Did you say something? Did you say something? Cynthia, I didn't hear what you were saying.
We're getting a few more people I see coming in. We'll give it one more minute.
Courtney, can you hear us?
I can hear you. John, it looks like.
Yes,
Courtney, we can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
I hear you.
Oh, you hear me?
I do. Cynthia, you don't hear her?
I can hear Courtney as well.
Okay. All right. Why don't we go ahead and get started, everyone? It's 6:05 Central Time. First of all, I want to welcome everyone. Good evening. My name is John Wood. I'm an associate with Phillips West Public Relations and Communications. I will be your moderator for this community engagement session. I would like to introduce, as we go along, Miss Courtney Clark. She's project manager with Griffin and Strong for the 2026 Kansas City Disparity Study. As I'm giving my comments, there will be a short slideshow presentation. The last slide will be that of a QR code, which will remain on the screen for you to scan at any point so that you can gain additional information regarding the study at any time. As a part of ongoing efforts to ensure equity and access, Kansas City, Missouri engaged Griffin and Strong to perform a comprehensive and legally supportable disparity study that meets the judicial test for constitutional strict scrutiny by other criteria required by applicable law. The courts have stated that strict scrutiny is a standard of judicial review for race-conscious programs. The disparity study will collect data to assess whether all qualified firms in a market area have equal opportunities to compete for and participate in the city's procurement of prime contracts and subcontracts. The purpose of this session is to hear candid testimony about your experiences, both positive and areas of concern, in doing business with the city, attempting to do business with the city, or your reasons for not having attempted to do business with the city. Griffin and Strong is not interested in influencing your expressions whatsoever. Rather, it seeks a clear and honest image of your experiences. As a reminder, this meeting is being recorded. Everything said during this session will be available for public record, and all your comments are going to be taken down, recorded, and summarized for use in the study. Griffin and Strong's final report, however, will not publish the names, business names, or other affiliations of individuals who give testimony. At this session, we are not soliciting questions, but commentary only. Additionally, we will not be responding to questions or commentary. However, I may ask questions to gain additional clarity to your comments. I will invite volunteers one by one to give their experiences and opinions. Any objections or similar experiences that other participants would like to share are encouraged but should wait to be acknowledged by myself before sharing. We ask that all participants be treated with courtesy and respect by refraining from interruptions and harsh language. When providing comments, please begin by stating your name and business name clearly for the record before beginning your testimony. Please keep your comments 3 to 5 minutes long so that everyone has time to share. If your comments go longer than 5 minutes, I will wave my hand to let you know to wrap up your comments so that someone else might share. Are there any questions before we get started? If not, let us now begin taking public testimony. And who would like to go first? Raise your hand. You will be acknowledged. Are there any takers? I'm going to ask someone not commenting. I will ask someone to share. I know all of
John,
you.
this is Erica. I'll go.
Okay, go ahead, Erica, and then Cynthia Heron after that. Thank you. Go ahead.
So am I just to reiterate, I thought there might be like a question to kind of prompt the conversation. So are we just sharing our experience with doing business with the city, opening up a business with the city?
You're sharing your experiences of doing business with the city or attempting to do business with the city, or if you haven't done business with the city, what are your reasons for not doing business with the city at this point?
Okay, thank you for that clarification. Yeah, I can speak on doing business with the city. I'm specifically opening a business, not food related. And I will share that I do appreciate the city designating certain staff to provide more concierge service. However, I will also share that the rules, the steps, understanding for a non-city employee who does not work in planning and zoning, understanding exactly what we need to do to open a business is not clear. And when attempting to find out like what the steps are, our experience, mine and my business partner, our experience has been, we felt like we had to know exactly what question to ask in order for the city to help us with what we needed. But if you don't know exactly what it is that you're supposed to do, we were made to feel like, you know, we just weren't knowledgeable. We should know, we didn't. And our perspective was, you know, well, we figured the city, you know, should be providing us this information because we're asking, you know. So the information wasn't readily available. And oftentimes, if I can be completely transparent, oftentimes the customer service wasn't always very friendly. We felt like we were an annoyance. We've been in conversations where a city staff person it appeared like they didn't want to help us. And that's very frustrating when the city has a lot of opportunities for business, especially gearing up for this World Cup. I mean, it really should be all hands on deck. I feel like the perspective of the city should truly be, what can we do? How can we serve? Not the other way around. It feels like, you know, us as, residents, people trying to open up a business, it was almost as if we needed to serve the city, again, versus the other way around. There really wasn't a whole lot of excitement to help us, to answer questions, and to just let us know like what to expect, what are the next steps in the permitting process. But again, I will say their direction on having city concierge to help us, even for emotional support, was helpful and appreciated.
Okay, thank you. What could you give us the name of your name and the name of your business?
Yeah, my name is Erica Taylor Murph, and our business is the Bevel Barber Lounge.
Okay, thank you for your comments. Ms. Herron, you are next, and then Maurice Ballesteros. Maurice Ballesteros.
Very good. My name is Cynthia Heron. I manage investments and retirement plans and benefit plans for companies. And I have a base of contractors in this area. And my experience is not a direct experience of working with the city, it's indirect, with my contractors sharing with me the challenges they have trying to work with the city. And I put together an association years ago to resolve those issues, and that association, of course, was not successful. In summary, what a lot of my contractors say is this, that the city departments are departmentalized. They are isolated, and there's not an exact consistency of their speaking with each other, which means the contractor must go to every single department to secure a bid and get paid for the bid, and it's up to them to navigate the city's different siloed departments. Now, it might have improved over the years, but most of my clients have said it is not exactly improved on a consistent basis. This is a standard problem that most large organizations have. And what the solution seems to be effective is having sort of like a steward or someone to handle the flow through of the bid and the processing and the payment. Next area is the bid website. It is challenging. I was at a meeting with bid managers and with the city, and they proudly said, they put out a bid this morning. I said, great, where is it? And I had my laptop there and projected on the screen saying, show me where this bid exists. 12 pages into the website is when we finally found that bid. Now, what that told me is this, the person submitting the bid did not have any indication as to where it shows up on the website. And again, it's up to the contractor to find that bid opportunity. So if anything, if the city were to consider recognizing that their departments do not speak to each other and the core of getting bids is the bid website, there should be more effort on the bid website being more efficient and better to use for people to do business, because right now it takes a lot of convincing for me to ask contractors to say, go ahead and try and work with the city. It is not an easy conversation to have. And it boils down to when a handful of contractors finally figure out the magic navigation, they're used all the time. And they're the only ones to get the business. Everyone else has to find that magical group of people to get business done with the city. There's no centralized bid process and payment process for contractors to be consistently successful. Those are my comments.
Thank you so much. Ballesteros, Mike Thomas, and then Julie Wellner in that order. Thank you.
Okay, hi, I'm Maurice Ballesteros, and the name of my company is ABG Properties, LLC. And we are a rental company business where we buy houses in the city, fix them up, and rent them. They're all single family dwellings, mainly in the Northeast, but some in Midtown. Although we are now down to 3 houses and have sold everything because we can no longer work with the city. In the beginning, we didn't have a problem setting things up about 15 years ago when we started. It was fairly clear that, you needed to be, they told you this is what you need to do for rental properties. This is where you need to sign up. If you want to do Section 8, this is what you have to meet the requirements. And at that point, fine, we went ahead and did it. Over the years, it's been getting harder and harder to work with the city, and I may say in particular, the city council. They are the ones, of course, in charge of passing the laws and the regulations of the city. And the police are supposed to, and do for the most part, follow those regulations. And so with the new regulations of what rental property owners have to do to be able to get a place up to standard and then to rent it out is like jumping through hoops, and you don't even know exactly, because the laws aren't even clear about what you're supposed to do. You're in fear all the time that you're going to be jailed or being given a $1,000 a day fine. And not even know why, because the laws just aren't clear. We've tried to talk with the city council people. I have yet to ever get a call back or an email back. Sometimes I will get an email back from an assistant who will say, and it'll be like a form email, sorry for your problems, let us know if there's anything we can do to help. Well, I'll let you know what you could do to help, and I haven't heard anything. I will say I've been shot at 4 times. I have had my back broken in 3 places. My husband has had his neck broken twice. I've had my new shoulder put in because the regulations to the police were so unclear as to how long people could stay in a house until they went to the court, the eviction court. And the new eviction court, it takes 6 months to a year to get to the eviction court. There's all these new regulations. The police don't really understand what those regulations are, and the city council has not been clear on those regulations. And therefore, it puts us in a very dangerous situation. I can go into more of it. I don't think I need to. I don't think you need to know everything that's happened, but needless to say, if somebody chooses to stay in a house, they can. And what they do with that house is really up to them. And basically, it ruins a house over a year. And it costs us hundreds of thousands of dollars to rebuild houses. And at that point, you can't make money off of it. And I saw one statistic last week that said 88% of the housing in Kansas City, Missouri was corporate housing. Well, why do you think? Us small owners have tried for 3 or 4 years now to get in front of the city council to talk to them, and they've only met with us as a group twice. And, we just don't have a lot of communication with them. They've decided what direction they want to go. And so the people that own, the small mom and pop people have gotten to the point that we're afraid and bad things happen and we're all leaving. And what happens? The corporate housing comes in and it just makes things worse for the people that are trying to rent. It raises rents. It makes it harder for people to rent to corporate housing. So I just wish we could get the city council to write clear regulations, to communicate those regulations, and to work with the police and other people to make it safe and fair to everyone.
Okay, thank you for your comments. Appreciate it. Mr. Thomas.
Good evening. Mike Thomas, company is MGT Enterprise. We're a construction company. So primarily we just do public work stuff, state and federal level mainly. What I've noticed with the city, they try to be slick. Whenever you go to the bid site to bid on any kind of RFP solicitation, they'll only have like some plumbing. They have a lot of parks and rec stuff. Stuff, the little bitty stuff, but all the stuff that they give tons of tax abatement money to, tons of, money for those multifamily units that they're building every which way. That's always hidden. So we run macros and we'll skim all the various bid websites, and nothing will come up for the city of Kansas City. And then all of a sudden, 8 months later, you'll see this, $50 million multifamily or something where they probably got well, I know for a fact they would have gotten, quite a bit of money because MSDC's involved, and then they would have gotten all kinds of money given to them, tax dollars from the city of Kansas City. None of those bids are ever public. They're never public. The only one that's been public just recently was like the Vine District, but that was only because they made them do a second bid out because they didn't get enough participation. So they forced them to go out and rebid on that one. But for the majority of the rest of them, you almost never see those out unless you kind of know the developer, through back channels or something like that. So if it involves tax dollars or tax abatement or whatever from the city, that stuff should be made public all the time. I mean, it should be no ifs, ands, buts about it.
So are you currently doing business with the city now?
I've had a contract, one contract with them, and then I've done some stuff through a developer, through the city of Kansas City.
Okay.
But I mean, that's a daunting task in and of itself. I mean, working with them directly.
Okay.
Mr. Thomas, sorry to interrupt. Was that serving as a prime contractor with the city?
No, it was a sub
Okay.
capacity. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Ms. Wellner.
Yes, thank you. This is Julie Wellner with Wellner Architects and Engineers. And I think this is a pretty interesting moment in time for the disparity study to be happening with everything that's coming down the pike with elimination of DEI programs. And the city may have its hands full trying to keep funding in a lot of different areas by complying with other regulations, and it really is a worrisome time. But I have understood that it might be that small business is the potential future for some of the local small businesses as opposed to MBE-WB if those programs are truly in jeopardy. And so I'm hoping that this study could potentially include a study of the small businesses in the metropolitan area also, in case that turns out to be one of the CREO areas of setting goals and inclusivity in the city in the future. So
Julie,
yes, go ahead.
I did want to let you know that the study is comprehensive and that it is inclusive of small businesses as well. So we're not just focusing on minority and women-owned businesses. This is a study that is encompassing all businesses, not just, minority owned, but small businesses and all businesses as well.
Excellent. And so that means that CREO might start to have programs. They do have programs right now as to be a small local business, but that level of the criteria for the gross revenue on that is really, really low. It's not commensurate with the federal government. So it rules out a lot of companies. So I'd like to think that some of the disparity study would potentially make recommendations of those kind of criteria. Okay,
absolutely.
great. That's super. Another area of concern that I have is that in the last disparity study, I think it was there were professional services, goods and services, and construction. And those are very different categories and need to be different forever. And it gets a little gray when a project is design build or a project is developer led. So if it's developer led, it often is design build. If it's design build, it's just a different pot of money. But then the professional services sort of get lost in the overall cost of the project. And so if this disparity study is similar to the last disparity study, which I served on the review committee for, I would like to think that it would be clear that in a design build project or a developer led project, the professional services have to be tracked separately. In other words, not all of the MBE and WBE should be in a design build project be accomplished through construction. It needs to have a certain percentage in design and professional services and a certain percentage in the construction services. And somehow that needs to be tracked separately, and it hasn't been. In addition, there are a lot of projects where the project might start with the scope of work for picking the land, but the project is actually to build a whole development on the land. And so by picking the land, when you look at the real estate professionals in town and the percentage of MBE and WB available is very small. So the goal might be set at something like 1%, but it turns out to be a $50 million construction project. So when the initial team is selected, especially those of us who are pursuing these projects as a prime, we're not receiving any of that advantage that is supposed to be created by these programs to counteract the disadvantage that these studies prove. So I would like to also say that the entire scope of the project needs to be on the table at the beginning when the goals are established.
Mhm.
I think that some of the agencies that fall through the gap are the projects that have the tax benefits along with them. They might be EDC, they might be PIAC, they might be Port Authority. Oftentimes the projects that go through general services or public works are following all the rules. And it's sort of those outliers that seem as though at least we missed the opportunities in my office, and we're watching pretty thoroughly. So somehow they're decided on a different set of criteria than an awful lot of the other projects that go through general services. Okay, I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So to follow up on that, do you feel like, you're excluded from bidding on projects with the city? Do you have any more insight on maybe kind of your interactions with the city directly on maybe any projects that you bidded on, maybe, getting certified with the city and things of that nature?
No, the certification's been fine. I don't feel I'm excluded. I just feel like sometimes the program has a few holes in it. And so we just need to tighten those holes up. And those holes are often related to how the goals are decided because of, when the paperwork is filled out for the scope of the project and what trades are involved, that sometimes is not the whole story. And sometimes there just needs to be some knowledge in that area. I'm not, somebody knows what the whole scope of the project is, but when you fill out those forms and you only have funding for phase one, and you select a team and set goals based on phase one, it's not necessarily providing opportunities to all of the MBEs and WBs out there for the rest of the project.
Sounds like depends on the pot of money that the project is being funded through, whether the opportunities are available for professional services and or others. Again, depending on the pot of money that it's coming from.
I think that's true, but then that pot of money and that contract is enlarged. It's expanded. It's amended, and so that team is already in place. And so sometimes those disciplines that weren't part of phase one haven't had a chance to market to be on that team.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you. Is there anyone else? I know there are others there. Several of you are on the call because you want to say something. We're looking forward to hearing from you.
Hello, this is Joe Davis with Custom Engineering.
Thank you.
I just want to advocate for the continued implementation and enforcement of goals on city contracts. If there's no goals written in the RFQ, RFP requirements, the large firms have no need to call the smaller firms for contracting opportunities. They can do all the work. So if there's no goals, there's no opportunities for smaller firms. The program is really a subcontracting program. It's not really a set up for you to pursue projects that are prime, because the city, and I often hear this all the time, they ask, well, why are you submitting as a prime? You're a sub-consultant. So the city views, procurement views MWBEs as sub-consultants, not as prime consultants. And they would prefer the larger firms hire smaller firms and not smaller firms pursuing these projects as a prime. And if the program does go away, I would advocate, as Ms. Wellner spoke of, a small business program. So there's goals for small business. So we're not excluded. If we're going to be excluded for um, status, race and gender, then we would be considered for small business. And then narrow that down, it could be obviously the metropolitan area or certain geographical zip codes, much like the federal government may target rural areas or hub zones. So if you're in those areas, you would be considered, we have goals. So if you're going to eliminate the program, then at least you have a alternative for small businesses to be able to participate in city contracts.
Okay.
But if there's no goals, there's no phone call.
I was under the impression that there were goals with every city contract.
Not necessarily. Now they do some homework, and I think they'll, if there's a scope of work, they may poll firms. Can poll the community? Can you perform this scope of work? And based on the replies they get, they may set a goal, or if they get no reply, they may waive the goal.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate that. I see Mr. Thomas, your hand is up again.
Yeah, I was just gonna respond. Jennifer brought up some good points, and then Joe did too. The only thing with the SLB, if they say, hey, let's get rid of the goals like of the MBE, WBE, and we kind of mirror the federal level. The problem is on the reason why you don't get a lot of WBE and MBE primes at the city levels, because a lot of those contracts would be like real high where you can't bond. Like, I can only bond, my bonding limit is like 7 million, which would mean that if it's a large development, you can't do anything like that if it's going to be, 20, 30, $50 million. But at the state and federal level, I can bid on a ton of construction contracts because, they may have a $300,000 roof. They may have a maintenance shop for 500, that you can build for, 500,000 or something like that. So there's tons of work throughout the state of Missouri, but in the city, heck, even some of those the sidewalks and stuff like that. Once you start getting up into 2 million, I know a lot of concrete guys that can do flat work, but they can't get bonded for that high. So even if we go into the small business world, if we echo the federal government, the problem is you a lot of those guys still wouldn't be able to participate as a prime because certain NAICS codes for the federal government, I can still compete. It may say a small business is going to be under 35 million or 50 million. I can compete with somebody at that level because the bonding isn't going to kill me because it's not going to exceed more than 5 million. But at the city level, it would. I mean, you wouldn't even be able to bid on anything that high. I think that would be the only thing because on the small SLBE, if they say you can be a small business at the local level, but and they raise that limit to 20 or 30 million, most of those smaller companies aren't that large, so they would still kind of be squashed by a quote unquote smaller company that's doing 30, 50 million a year.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you. Well, I see Ms. Wellner's hand is up again. I also want to urge those of you who have not spoken, would like to hear from other people as well. So after Ms. Wellner makes her comments, I would really like for somebody else, Mr. Rangel or Ms. Smith or someone to comment. I know you're on for a reason. Go ahead, Ms. Wellner.
Thank you. So one more thing about the SLBE program and how I've observed that it's been operated is more as a set aside where a project is selected to go to an SLBE. I think what would be beneficial is if all projects had goals for inclusion of SLBE firms on the team.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Appreciate it. I would like to hear from someone else. I have Ms. Ruth Turner on. Ms. Turner, would you like to speak? Ms. Selena Smith.
Good evening. I haven't done business with the city just yet because I have found even the entry point is very cumbersome. And I felt like Ms. Taylor Murph addressed some of my concerns, really all of them, in terms of the complexity with even getting in the pipeline. So I have not, I just decided to go in a different direction. Thank you.
Okay. Before you, so you feel the process is somewhat daunting, or is it
Yes,
just
and it was
more complicated?
discouraging. That is correct.
Okay. How long have you been in business?
Since 2021.
And you may have said that, what was the name of your business
it's-
again? I'm sorry.
This particular one is SA3 Enterprises, and it deals in property. So I deal in housing.
Okay.
Thank you.
And
Okay,
Ms.
thank
Smith,
you.
could you please follow up with your business name for me?
S is in Sam, A is in Apple, the number 3 Enterprises.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
Looking for a new person to speak.
So this is Rick Rangel here. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Go ahead. Who are you with, Mr. Michael?
Rick Rangel, Rangel Distributing. I could not
Okay.
figure out how to show a hand raise. I apologize for that. However, okay, so let me just put in my 2 cents about feeling like I'm being left out of competing for city business. We were the minority partner for the last several years with Mark Whitlow and Office Supplies Alliance for our industry, which is office supplies for all the departments of the city. So the city came to us, Mark and I, last fourth quarter last year and said, we've decided to go with Amazon for all of our office supply needs across the city. And we understand that because Amazon's got, mind share, and they're a big player in the marketplace, and we understand that. So we sat down with them on December 20th, and one interesting thing that Creel told me was that, Rick, you are the last certified MBE with the city. And I thought, no kidding. And I don't know why they said that, because I see there's still a lot of certified MBEs with the cities. I don't know why they told me that. However, they wanted us to join Amazon's minority vendor program to become part of a cap for the minority participation and selling stuff through Amazon. But we told them that Amazon requires a 30% upcharge on every item sold that Amazon keeps. So using that delta, that difference, that basically excludes us from being competitive if we were to participate through the Amazon marketplace as an MBE vendor. So we told the city we can provide product, thousands of items as cheaper than Amazon, and provide inside delivery for copy paper, which Amazon cannot do. We'd be more than willing to do whatever business makes sense for each department for the city. Long story short is that we weren't given a direct answer or even a follow-up on that. This was from last December, and I feel like we are not being given a chance to compete for city business anymore because we're not Amazon, and we're not going to be an Amazon marketplace vendor for obvious expense reasons. And so I just wanted to kind of illuminate the fact that we are a qualified MBE vendor who is more than capable of providing a service and cost-efficient price for a commodity, which by all accounts and measures, our transactions flow in the credit card category. So they're not really a large dollar PO contract level of dollar volume. And still, we feel like we're not even being allowed to communicate with the departments of the city to do even $100 worth of business. So I just want to put my 2 cents in.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Rangel, as a follow-up, have you done business with the city prior to that, and what was kind of your experience?
Yes. So we were partners with Office Supplies Alliance. So we are providing office supplies to the city for the past 6 or 7 years through that. So the city knows our service. They know what we can provide, and they're being told by Creole, even though you like their service, you like their price, we now want you to buy through Amazon, period.
How long has the city been doing business with Amazon?
They just started this past January.
Okay. All right, thank you. Someone else?
Hello. I'm not sure if you can hear me. Are you able to hear me?
Loud and clear, thank you.
Okay. Hi, my name is Shauna Crockett, and I am the co-owner and co-founder of Imagine This KC. We have an event space as well as we provide decor designing services. So we have done service with the city for luncheon, Fifth District luncheon. This was our second time. Initially, the very first time, it was a little bit of cumbersome because a lot of the departments weren't speaking to each other as far as the ball got dropped as far as how to become a vendor and things like that. So that was kind of a little frustrating process. But once that was taken care of and handled, everything pretty much ran smoothly, and we enjoy working with the city. Another challenge that we did have is when trying to open up our event space, we ended up going to Olathe, Kansas to open the event space because we found out a lot of challenges with the city as far as who to go to even start with getting a special use permit, finding locations that were available. We left multiple voicemails, no one called us back. So it just was kind of nobody really assisted with the process. And then searching for grants for funding or just different opportunities for funding, you had to have a minimum amount even to qualify for those opportunities. So I think that kind of makes it challenging for new entrepreneurs starting out, even though we have been decor designing since 2000. Our second venture is considered a second business, the event space. And so that's where we kind of ran into some challenges. So I am a KC Greater Kansas City Chamber member. I'm very heavily involved with them and talk quite often with them. So they are the ones that actually told me about this opportunity to come and, give feedback and things like that. So thank you for that opportunity to be able to do this. Hopefully you guys take what we say into heart, especially with FIFA coming up. That's kind of been challenging too, just kind of knowing who do you talk to become considered for that and things like that. So I do have our name on the list, but really haven't heard anything or next steps or how to even become a vendor for that. So just maybe if there's more resources that the city can help out with, I think that would help not only new businesses and bring more income to the city, but also with FIFA coming up.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that. I see my friend of mine, Miss Gigi Owens is on. I know you have something to say. Sorry to put you on the spot like that. While she's thinking, is there anyone else? Miss Parrish, Ms. Kulikov, how about you? Either one of you? Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Is there anyone else who would like to participate, like to make a comment?
when will the results of the study be made available, and how will it be made available?
So the results of the study are scheduled to be completed by the end of 2025. In terms of how it will become available, that will be up to the city's discretion and however they disseminate that information. But that's when we anticipate to complete the study. My guess is that information to the public will be released probably early winter around the springtime.
Excellent, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Ms. Brungard, I see you made a comment in the chat. We have not worked directly with the city, serve as a entrepreneurial support organization. Would you care to comment a little bit more about that verbally?
Sure, I don't mind at all. Thank you. We help support specifically more with women-owned. We do certify women-owned businesses for national certification. But we do help in terms of directing them to the appropriate resources that are needed out there in terms of whether that be state certification or within the municipalities where they're needed. But we also do training. We do those types of things where we're able to help small businesses learn the tools and skills needed to be able to run their business efficiently and to be able to be ready for working with entities like the city, entities like corporations that are within the Kansas City area. We do oversee a 9-state region. So, I mean, it's a big company, but I work within the Kansas City region specifically. So.
Are you a membership organization?
WeBank, who we certify through, requires a cost for the certification. But outside of that, no. I mean, we ourselves, WBDC, no.
Okay.
Miss Brungart, so do you have any knowledge or maybe insight into maybe some of the experiences that the business owners have shared with you and your work that you've done with them? Any issues or barriers or challenges or maybe things that they feel that could be better through the process that you have insight on?
I mean, it's been covered here. So, I mean, some of the things that have been noted to us, and it's very small in terms of what I've heard. But it's just that they already have companies that they work with. So they don't feel like they're heard or considered. And so we continue to work with them to try to make sure that they have all the skills needed to be able to do the job in case that's something that's a hindrance. I mean, we help with capability statements. We help with all those things. So that's the majority. I really couldn't speak to anything else in terms of concerns that have come up. But we do try to keep our ears open so that we're able to fill that gap for wherever it's needed so that they are ready and that they have the tools needed to be able to work with the city and with the different corporations we work with.
Okay, thank you for that clarification.
You're welcome.
So are there others? I know there are one or two others on here who have not spoken. My friend said she'll be on the 24th, Ms. Owens, so we look forward to hearing from you on the 24th. Ms. Parrish, Ms. Kulikoff, either one of you would like to make a comment?
Good evening. This is Vicki Kulikov. I just stepped in as an observer. I'm the small business director at the Greater Kansas City Chamber of Commerce, and I had the opportunity to speak with Courtney a week or so ago. So thank you for doing this, and hopefully you get some good information and can make some good changes.
Thank you for sitting in, Vicki. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
You're so welcome.
Thank you.
And so this is Fatima Parrish with Parrish and Sons Construction, just echoing similar sentiments to Joe about, the percentages and the DBE requirements and, the WBE requirements as they continue to diminish, we lose out on, the attempt to level the playing field. And when we have these projects that are so large, that, we can't bond them, it's important for us to, work on carving out packages that, allow us to still be able to take advantage of some of the opportunities. But that's, really the only item that I, just wanted to add, echoing similar sentiments to things that have already been shared.
Ms. Parrish, I'm going to ask a question. So to what extent does the city, if it does at all, encourage sort of the joint ventures and that type of thing, or the sharing of projects among different companies? Does that occur?
I'm not sure that I've ever been a part of or recall it occurring. There were some opportunities that presented themselves after completing certain construction management, cohorts, and we just were able to establish, relationships with other larger primes and take advantage of pursuing, a carved out component that's basically we were okay with accepting the risk for, and that was the airport.
Okay.
But as far as, the 18 plus projects that I've primed with the city of Kansas City, it was basically off of the bonding capacity and learning to navigate, the relationships and, having to, make several phone calls and following up. And then you find, certain construction project managers that are, very responsive and willing to walk you through certain portions of the project, and that's really been the biggest, I guess, contributing factor to how we were able to complete the projects.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
So is there anyone else who has not spoken would like to make some comments? Anyone at all? Well, Ms. Clark, perhaps we reached the end of our time.
Okay, well, I want to thank you all for joining our session today, and thank you for sharing your comments. This is really the backbone of our study, right? To hear stories from you guys and from business owners in the areas, because, sometimes you don't get to hear the experience through the data. So this will corroborate the data collection that we've already done and also the other components of our study. So again, I want to thank you for hopping on today. I know this is probably after work for a lot of you guys in the evening when you have some things going on. So we really appreciate your time. If you guys are interested in other ways that you can participate in our study, which we would really appreciate, we do have a survey of business owners, which will be launching at the end of this week, where you can complete the survey for a chance to win a gift card. And this will just offer additional insight for our study. It will ask you some questions that you can complete. And so I will be reaching out to all of you who have attended for that survey. So I did want to give you a heads up about that. I want to thank Phillips West John Wood for moderating the session. And that's pretty much all that I have. If you guys would like to learn more about the study, I invite you to look at our study website. I'm going to drop the link here in the chat. And then you can always email me for any questions or additional commentary that you may have.
And of course, we have one more session on Thursday morning. So if you think of something or others who would like to participate or have some comments, please invite them to join us on Thursday, the 24th at 10 o'clock a.m.
Yes, and it will be our final session. So if you have anyone that you know, please invite them. All right, everyone. Thank you for your time again. I hope you have a great rest of your evening, and we look forward to writing these down for use in our study.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.